So why don't we go over here? Yeah, in the lip.
I wanted to address the welfare issue that you brought up from the Clinton and Republican Congress, the TANF thing that California did not jump on. That's like the big gorilla in the room, and there's a lot of enabling that goes on in California and a horrible welfare system. Are you going to seriously be able to address that big issue?
Well, I think we have to address that issue because it will allow us to be more efficient and effective as governor, but I also think it builds stronger communities. Helping people get back to work, getting on their feet, builds stronger communities. So I think we've got to look at a couple things. One is, as I said, we have twice the population of New York and 5 times the number of welfare cases. We have among the highest cash benefits of anywhere in the country. And we don't require people to work for their benefits as much as many other states. So I think everyone who gets those benefits needs to either be studying for a GED, doing community service, or working. And if we do that, I think we can get people back to work. And I am not often inspired by Bill Clinton. In fact, very rarely. But he did say one thing when he launched Welfare at Work. He said what put him over the edge of saying that this was a good program is he was talking to some parents, and a mom had gone back to work because of his revisions to welfare. And he said, he told the story that the little boy, who was the son of this woman, said to his mom, "I'm so glad you're at work because now I can tell my friends at school what you do for a living." So that's the other reason I think this is such the right thing to do. It will strengthen our communities. There will be some hardships along the way, but I think it's the right thing to do. So I will tackle this. Okay, yeah, in the front here. Sure. I'll repeat it. That's okay. People ask me questions every day.
And I want to know if you are going to be able to put forth any proposals and or even vote on them regarding sanctuary cities, in-state tuition for illegals, all of the welfare programs for illegal sex, pathway to citizenship, checking, state may not be able to do this, stolen IDs and fake licenses, and sending in the families back to where they came from and go through the pathway of getting here. And if you believe the state in the possibility of reinterpreting.
So I don't know if everyone heard that question, but it largely centered around illegal immigration and what I would do about it. And you prefaced it by saying you didn't want to hear about it. Right, specifically. So let me tell you where I stand on illegal immigration. It is a federal issue. That said, the next governor of California has to weigh in on this issue far more emphatically than we have in the past, because California has the most to gain from an enlightened immigration policy and the most to lose from a flawed immigration policy. So here's what I think we must do. We have to secure the border of the United States of America. And I had a very interesting trip. I spent a good amount of time on the border between Mexico and California in what's called the San Diego section. We're 2 career Border Patrol agents. And by the way, we owe a debt of thanks to those Border Patrol agents. In any case, we have not secured the border of the United States of America. It is only very recently that we have the correct number of Border Patrol agents. They still don't have the technology that they need in terms of infrared and motion detectors. We have just finished the second fence down near San Diego. And that makes all the difference in terms of their ability to enforce the border. So we have got to do a better job on calling for the enforcement of the border of the United States of America. And we can do this. And if the feds won't step up, then we are going to have to think very hard about do we use the National Guard to put reinforcements there. Because if we don't secure the border, then almost everything else we do will be less effective. So first, yeah, we'll come on to that in a second. The second thing that we have to do is we have got to hold employers accountable for hiring undocumented workers. In many ways, the way you should think about this is an economic fence. because the lure of good jobs will bring illegal immigrants to this country unless we hold employers accountable. Now this is tough. Right now there isn't a great federal database that small businesses can ping. We've got to get that to a point where you as a small business or you as a small business can ping a database and know whether the person in front of you is legal to work or not. Then third, we've got to end sanctuary cities. I couldn't be more that I can cite is my city of San Francisco. You know, this is in direct violation of federal immigration law, and it is not legal. So those are the first three things that I would do. I would also say that we have to remember that legal immigration built this country. I suspect everyone's parents, great-grandparents came here legally, and it has been a big part of what we do. And so I want to mention two things. We must have a guest worker program for our agricultural industry. We now feed 40% of America in the Central Valley, and they need a good, well-monitored guest worker program. For technology, for Silicon Valley, for San Diego, for Los Angeles, almost every company now is a technology company. We don't have enough H-1B visas. These are the PhDs in chemistry, physics, math, etc. And my view is we've got to be all over this. We used to have 160,000 H-1B visas. Today we're down to 60,000. In good years, Silicon Valley alone would absorb those 60,000, and they will help build America. So I would say that. With regard to what to do about the illegals who live in this country, so I don't know what the number is. Is it 12.5 million, 13 million? It's a very knotty problem. And my view is that until we secure the border and we can look at each other and say the border is secure, until we hold employers accountable, I don't think we can talk about what the right thing to do is with that very large group of people. Because we have to first and foremost convince America, convince everyone in California that we in fact have secured the border, we've built an economic fence, and that we have eliminated sanctuary cities. Thank you for that. I'm going to ask one question here after the next question, so you get to think about it. Yes?
When Governor Schwarzenegger was first running, he had, I think, many of the same ideas you had, but he seems to have just been cut off at the knees by the unions. What are you going to do to overcome that?
So the unions have undue influence in Sacramento, there's no question about it. It's out of balance. The unions have much power, and they fund, by the way, a lot of the elections. In fact, you have probably seen what they have done to me in the last couple of days. So for those of you who don't know, there's two independent expenditures that are being funded to actually attack me now through television and radio ads. So I'd say a couple of things. One is, I do think we need to determine how to reduce the influence of the unions. And there is a bit of a foot now called the Consumer Power Initiative. And that is actually to reduce the financial power of the unions. I think we have to take a very close look at that. I would also say that the governor has to negotiate hard with the unions. I don't know if you know, but about 85% of the unions today who are the civil servants are not working with a contract. So if I was the governor right now, I would be negotiating with those unions incredibly hard, because I don't know people who aren't worried about losing their job. I don't know anyone who's thinking they're going to get a raise right about now. So this seems to me the time where you step up to the plate, you get your union negotiators, and you really negotiate and have really a spine of steel to get the very best deal that you can for the taxpayers of California. So I would say it is around negotiation, it is around this consumer power initiative, and we have got to work on this, because I agree with you, as you take on education reform, as you take on decreasing the number of workers, there is an issue around the relative power of the union and the rest of us in ways that I think isn't healthy for the California.